Pope Francis and Vladimir Putin. Two men, two worlds, two ideologies, one global stage. On one side, Pope Francis, spiritual leader to over 1 billion Catholics, champion of the poor, a voice for the voiceless. On the other side, Vladimir Putin, ex KGB officer turned president, architect of modern Russian nationalism, world's richest man, one of the most controversial figures of this time, and, in my opinion, the worst leader Russia has ever had. This is not just political analysis. I want to take you on a little journey through belief, power, morality, and the legacies of two men, Pope Francis and Vladimir Putin. The white and the black. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia. We're living in today's Russia, unusual Russia, explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not hear any lies, propaganda, or BS here. You will only hear truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions too, because I'm a human being after all. This live stream was inspired today by my wife, Natalia. We were taking a usual daily walk, and she brought up Pope Francis. We both admire Pope. He's touched us deeply, although we're not Catholic. We were talking, admiring his deeds, his stand on different things. But then a thought, just like a bolt of lightning, hit me. We were admiring Pope for doing right things. Things normal, considered normal in a normal society. But we are Russian, the products of Putin's Russia, whether we like it or not, and what we find tremendous, other people find normal. And I decided to explore it. So this live stream is divided into two logical parts. I will compare Pope Francis and Vladimir Putin. Then in the second part, I will explain how I see the results of life works of both men. And I'll give you examples of Russians. Let's start with the context. Pope Francis, born Jorge Maria Bergoglio, I hope I pronounce it right, born in Argentina, rose through the ranks of the Catholic Church with a reputation for humility, compassion, and reform. His papacy, which began in 2013 and ended with his death in 2025, marked a shift towards social justice, environmentalism, and inclusivity, among other things. Very unusual thing for the Catholic Church. Vladimir Putin, meanwhile, rose to power in post-Soviet Russia. Former intelligence officer, KGB colonel. He's been the central figure in Russian politics for over 2 decades, rising to the role of the supreme leader with absolute power, Russian Tsar, crafting an ideology rooted in national pride, traditional values, and geopolitical aggression and lies. He's the champion of lies. They both operated in entirely different arenas, the spiritual and the political, yet their influence has crossed the borders, cultures, and even the moral boundaries in some ways. And the legacies both have left are very different. Couldn't be more opposite. Well, forgive me for talking about Vladimir Putin in the past tense, but he's still alive, he's in power, but he has left a legacy, that's for sure. Let's break it down. What exactly do these two figures stand for? Pope Francis preached a gospel of mercy. He championed the marginalized, the poor, refugees, the environment issues. He criticized consumerism. He believed in dialogue over confrontation. Obviously, he was on the most far side from the wars, any wars. Unity over division. In his worldview, unity over division was number one. Global cooperation, compassion, stewardship were not just political options for him, they were moral obligations. And these are pretty big words, but they're not just words. I mean, that exactly what Pope Francis was. Putin, on the other hand, promotes deeply nationalistic vision for his country. His ideology is built on sovereignty, cultural traditionalism, and power projection. He sees the West, especially liberal democratic values, as corrosive to Russian identity. In Putin's narrative, Russia is not just a country, it's a civilization of its own, and it is a civilization under siege. Everyone in the West wants to take a piece of it, wants to destroy it. He appeals to orthodoxy, to history, to especially to Russia's mythical parts of the past. He's not just a president, he is, in his own eyes, and that's the image he projects to the world, he's the restorer of greatness, whatever it is. By presenting himself as the defender of Christianity, he bolsters his image at home in Russia and counters what he paints as a morally bankrupt West. So while Francis used religion to question power, Putin uses it to justify power. I want to talk about how these ideologies translate into action. Pope Francis was not unafraid to challenge the status quo, even with his own church. It could have been, well, it can be, one considered as one of his biggest achievements, actually. He softened the tone of the church on the issues like homosexuality, divorce, and interfaith dialogue, which is very unusual for Catholic Church. He met with different religious leaders, imams, rabbis, atheists. He met with atheists as well. He traveled often to meet and speak with margins, to refugee camps, to war zones, to poor nations. He was the man of the people before the Pope, you know. Yes, he was the Pope, but first he was man of people. And in doing so, Francis made a powerful statement. The true leadership is service. I love it. I think that's what leadership, is supposed to be. Now, Vladimir Putin's actions take a different form. Annexing Crimea in 2014, supporting Bashar Assad in Syria, launching a full-scale invasion, invasion of Ukraine, the war with Ukraine in 2022, and continuing it for 3 years. It's 3 years so far. Underpinning it all is the belief that Russia must resist Western influence and restore its rightful place on the world stage, no matter the cost. That is what the problem is, no matter what the cost is. His leadership, Putin's leadership, is about strength, strategy, and survival. Religion plays a powerful and sometimes ironic role in both men's ideologies, in Pope's and Putin's. Francis led world's largest Christian institution, yet his approach often clashed with traditionalists inside his church. He called for an end to, he called to a shift from dogma to compassion. He called for an end to judgment. Putin has aligned himself closely with the Russian Orthodox Church despite his early career as an atheist in the Soviet KGB. This alliance isn't spiritual, it's strategic. By presenting himself as a defender of Christianity, he bolsters his image at home in Russia, and he counters the image of the West, evil, satanic, bankrupt West. So Francis used religion to question power, and Putin uses religion to strengthen his own power and justify it. Francis wielded what political scientists call soft power. He didn't control armies or economies, but his moral authority reached presidents, parliaments, governments. When he spoke of climate change, of migration, of inequality, people listened across all faiths and even those non-believers. Politicians and regular people alike, everyone listened. Putin, on the other hand, uses both hard and soft power. He leverages energy supplies, cyber capabilities and threats, and military strength. But he also exports ideology. He uses soft power in a very different way that Francis used it. He uses propaganda to spread lies all over the world, supporting far-right and nationalist movements in Europe and America and Africa, spreading disinformation, shaping global narratives through media outlets like Russia Today. Francis inspired. Putin intimidates, forces and influences, and breaks. No moment better illustrates the ideological divide than the war in Ukraine. Pope Francis condemned the invasion repeatedly through his approach, reaching out to the world leaders, talking to them. He carefully navigated Vatican diplomacy while calling for peace and dialogue. Putin, on the other hand, frames the war as the sacred duty to protect Russian-speaking population, whatever it is, to confront NATO expansion and to defend Christian civilization from Western values and liberal values. Quite different approaches, okay? Now, enough comparing the two. I think you all get the idea. Now I want to jump to the results of these two ideologies because, both leaders were in power for quite some time. Putin is still in power, and we can see the results now. But before I jump to the results, to the legacies to both men, I would like to take this opportunity and thank you, everyone who is a part of Inside Russia community. Thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for interacting. Thank you for your messages with good words, for praying along with me, for other people. Thank you for buying me coffees at buymecoffee.com, for Patreon, PayPal. I give you a promise that despite being demonetized by Google for my stand against Russian government, I will continue telling you the truth. I will do so every single day. You have my word. Thank you. Now, we can look at the legacies both men have left behind. Again, I know that Putin is still alive and still in power, but 25 years of his reign, we can see a lot. We can tell a lot, definitely. Tashkent all of a sudden got hot. Pope Francis left hope behind him. Hope of unity, hope of change to the better, hope for love. He showed that even such incredibly conservative institution as Catholic Church can change to the better. He showed that love is more powerful than any weapon. He showed that love is more powerful than anything. This is what it's all about, love. When he died, people started crying. The whole world started crying, and people started praying for his soul. And Vladimir Putin has built a system of oppression that has transformed my country what it is today, where the government rules unanswered, unopposed. There's no political competition. There are laws that give power to the government and have taken power from me and 146 million citizens, just like me. The country where the state can start war, not answering to the voters and the taxpayers. The country where the governance of the society is done by the servants of the supreme ruler, and that system is called the vertical of power. He's created the system that has reversed values, that changed values. You know, many say Russia was always the aggressor. Russia was always the bad guy, the black sheep in the world's community. And I beg to differ. I witnessed different Russia. The USSR, the USSR was the bad guy. We all know. Ask anyone from countries in the eastern part of Europe, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, just anyone, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and you will get a very comprehensive and full answer about what the USSR was. We all know, I'm not going to go there. But when the USSR fell apart, I witnessed a different Russia. I witnessed the birth of a new country and new society. It was really tough back in Russia. It was incredibly scary because everything we knew just fell apart and disappeared into thin air. The values that we had all of a sudden we realized that they were fake. What we used to call white turned out to be black and vice versa. It was a very, very odd time, but it was a good time. Because for the first time in our lives, we received freedom. And I think Russians became free for the first time in 400 years. Free of the czars, free of the state, free of the oppression, free from ideology. The Russians came up with a new constitution. And one of the main articles of the new constitution stated the country cannot have any state ideology. It's forbidden. That's what Russia was back in the early 90s. The most precious thing humans can have is freedom. Because when you have freedom, you start thinking for yourself. You start asking questions. You start evolve. You start educating yourself. No one is above you. No one oppresses you. You are free. You're free to decide your future. You're free to decide anything you want. That's why one of my values, my life is built upon 4 values, and they are God, freedom, family number 2, God, family, freedom, and hard work. Freedom is incredibly important, okay? And we had it. All of a sudden, we were handed in this present, I don't know, perhaps from God, and we became free. And for 10 years, we remained free. You know how that freedom felt? There were no authorities. The state disappeared. The police didn't threaten us anymore. The KGB was nowhere to be found. For 2 years, the KGB didn't even exist. Then President Yeltsin broke it into 2 small departments. He was afraid of that they would strike back, conspire, and threw him off power and would steal his power, right? So there was no KGB. And that was good time. By different accounts, from 10 to 14 years, we had hope. We had a good country. We were not aggressive. We were evolving. We had the light at the end of the tunnel. We saw it. I am the witness. And then along came Vladimir Putin. And he started taking revenge. He was made the president of Russia, and he started building his system, the vertical of power. And 25 years have passed. He has succeeded. He has brought the USSR back, only the USSR improved, version 2.0. It's digitally upgraded and updated. Okay, it's worse than before. It's the country where kids, when they go to school, they dream of becoming, not scientists, not astronauts, not businessmen. They dream of becoming authorities, the politicians and officials working for the state. They dream of climbing the vertical of power ladder and taking one of the spots there. Because they know that the only way in Russia to live good life, have lots of money, is through having power. So they dream of becoming high-ranked officials. They know that would provide them with lots of power over other people and lots of opportunities to steal from the state, because that's what the members of the vertical of power do. Putin has built the country where people, the highest achievement is to steal, become rich, and transfer money out of Russia and move to where the money goes, move family, and move, whoever steals, and live happily ever after in one of the good countries, France or the USA or Spain. he's built a country where the state invades. The supreme leader makes the decision to invade neighbor, and most of the population supports that decision. And the rating of that person soars. He's built the country, the system, where those who fight and kill people in a neighboring country come back from the front lines and are invited to schools to give motivational speeches to children. He's built a system where stealing on all levels of the government is considered not only normal, but it's expected. That's why people get their jobs, and if they don't steal, they're ousted. They're not needed. They must take some for themselves and share it with the others on top. That's the country that Vladimir Putin has built. That's his legacy. That's what the world is looking at is at awe. That is why I was walking with my wife, and we were talking about Pope Francis, saying, look, what a great guy. He didn't amass any fortune, although he was one of the most powerful people in the world. He didn't leave any money behind. He didn't leave any fortune. Okay? He died basically a poor man, and his will was to give to the poor whatever he had left. He was presented a special security car when he visited Gaza a long time ago, and he was presented it by, I think, the authorities of Gaza. And then he made a will that car, a specialized car, the Pope-mobile, one of his Pope-mobiles, would be transferred as emergency and made into emergency vehicle for the poor, one of the poor towns. He was so modest. He was so honest. He was so transparent that to us, it sounded like a miracle. Whether in reality, it's normal. That's what Pope should be, like that. And any person in a position of power, a servant to people, should really be like that. Not abusing power, but using it to service people. Unfortunately, to us who lived for a long time in Putin's Russia, that was a miracle that Pope was like that. So, what will history say? I think the history has already said it. It said its word. I think Francis is remembered, well, I know he's remembered as the reformer who reawakened the church conscience and many people's conscience. As the Pope who brought climate change, refugees, and poverty issues into the hearts of people, into the spiritual discussion in the world. He is loved by billions. He is remembered as one of the greatest men in the world. He is prayed for by billions. And Vladimir Putin will be remembered as the autocrat who started the war with Ukraine, whose decision led to killings of hundreds of thousands of men, innocent men, who led Russia into isolation and decline, who led Russia into breaking apart. He will be remembered as the worst leader, the worst Tsar Russia will have ever had and have ever had. This is what I think. Now, before I turn the live stream chat on, I would like to ask you to like this message, of course, if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you're here for the first time. And please let me know in a live stream chat, what do you think of today's message? It's a very unusual live stream today. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it interesting. It's not about the economy, you know, it's about bigger issues, bigger things. But anyway, Russia keeps on living its life, and if you're interested in Russia, you might be interested in my Formula 54. I'd like to remind you that every day I select 9 news that I find important and make them available to patrons of Inside Russia at patreon.com. 9 news every day, 6 days a week. I feel it helps those who are interested to know what's happening in Russia and with Russia, to find the information that is important, that matter, and most importantly, cannot be found in any mainstream media. So consider subscribing to Patreon account of Inside Russia. That's not much at all. I'll leave a link in the description in a pinned comment below after this live stream ends. Please consider trying it. Let me turn the live stream chat on. And I can't wait to hear what you think of today's message. Are you with me or not? So what I usually do is open the live stream chat in a separate window. It's much easier for me to see the questions that way. And I suggest you try it too. And this is my most favorite part of any live stream, when I turn the live stream chat on and it explodes with messages of, it's filled with real people. Just give me a second here. And as usual, I'm asking you to highlight your question or comment in orange by putting Inside Russia after that sign. If you want me to see your message easier, please put it in all caps and highlight in orange. And if I don't reply to your message, doesn't mean that I ignore you. I just don't see it. Just keep on posting, and sooner or later I will run into it. And of course, I would like to say that this community Inside Russia is a fantastic, comfortable place because we have the best moderation team in the world. Great people, great friends, and the best moderators ever. Lorna, Mami K, Harry Potman, Amir Fazat, Bob S., and Dirk. Thank you, friends, for coming to every stream and moderating this community, making sure it's safe for everyone, pleasant. We do not discuss US politics here. There are other places and times for that. So please don't. And just be nice, respect each other. So respect others. That's the only rules that we have here. So howdy friends, howdy usual suspects. Fantastic to see everyone. I have many familiar faces. Leitmotiv, besides the mods, of course. Leitmotiv, Patscally, Mike, Mr. Kaliskin, Jodes Rames, Pamela, Sam the Legend K, Angela McNaught, Rogue Bard, howdy. Ronnie, Alu. I see that everyone except for Mammy is here. Lorna, howdy, howdy. Bob, Harry, Amir. Ho ho, Jodes Rames. Tony B. Scott. Okay, so let's jump into the messages. Not too many people today. More people come when it's about Russian economy and all of that. Well, I think today's topic is very important. It's very important for me. That was what on my heart, in my heart, and I kind of, shared with you. By the way, I have learned where Russia and Putin, well, Russian state, Russian government, and Vladimir Putin will take money for the sinking economy. I'm going to share it with you May 10th. Please, it's going to be a short message, fairly short message video. So please come and check it out. I know. I have cracked the puzzle. I know where they're going to come up with the money. That's the question I was asking in the last couple live streams. Okay. So Tony has a question. Hello, Constantine, absolutely spot on for Pope Francis. I feel the same as you said. One question, is there in Russia parade biggest thing now and coming, or is there something big hidden? Okay, Tony, that's a good question. Of course, there's something big hidden, and that big is the elephant in the China room. You cannot avoid it, but Russian propaganda, Russian state, trying not to talk about it, avoid this topic as much as they can, and that is the economy. The economy is landsliding fast and hard. They call it soft landing in Russia, or this is a new word like balancing out, but that's not balancing. It's very hard landing. For example, right before the May holidays, they have announced a few very, can't even say unfavorable, but a few bad things, right? For example, the Minister of Finance, and I had it in the Friday news update, the Minister of Finance came out and said, you know what? We planned the budget deficit for 1.17 trillion rubles. Just a few months ago, in December, in November, 5-6 months ago. Well, we are downgrading our, forecast. Now we're expecting 3.8 billion deficit. In just 5 months or 6 months or whatever, they have downgraded it from 1.17 to 3.8. And they did it openly. It's not like they classified it. No, it's out there. But the Russian propaganda, Russian media are avoiding talking about that. And you can find this information in a specialized media, for example, in business newspaper. But how many regular people read Russian newspaper? And they did it right before the start of the May holidays. And the May holidays is usually one of 2 long holidays in Russia. It's about 5 or 6 days off. The entire country takes, let's say, a week off from May 1st to May 9th usually. There are a couple working days in between, but it's the May holidays. Everyone is focused on having a good time. It finally is warm in Russia, although it's not warm. on May 2nd, there was a huge record snowfall in Moscow. And it's supposed to be green grass and all of that, right? But still, it's nice outside. The winter is over. In Russia, the summer is not too long in Moscow and the north, just 3 months. So people try to get out, to celebrate, to do barbecues, and they don't want to know anything about politics, economy. So Russian propaganda inserted this information right before everyone went into the holidays. Well, I think they learned it from the USA. In the US media, this strategy is called, but this action is called Friday dump or news dump, Friday news dump, where they dump the news on Friday evening before the weekend. And in Russia, it's the same thing, okay? So this huge thing, and they're trying to distract everyone with a parade. Parade this, parade that, Oh, the Chinese are here, the North Koreans fought bravely alongside Russian soldiers, and there are plenty of reports on TV and such. So they are trying hide something big, very big. That's the economic collapse. It's really hard to hide it because people getting laid off. People can buy less and less. People look at the increasing prices and just in awe and things like that. Anyway, I hope I answered your question. Kev Sullivan from Iowa. Howdy, sending my love to Iowa. Alu, what are the thoughts on the May 9th parade? Is there an attack? Alu, what are the thoughts? What is your question? There will be May 9th parade. It's going to be a tour de force. They're going to show off. That's what they usually do, but this year is special because there will be lots of Chinese. To me, it's a shame, but to them, I guess, I don't know, it's a sign. Look, Russia is not alone. Russia is supported by the Chinese. We have strong allies. We have sent our allies have sent troops. They're marching on the Red Square, but if needed, they will send those soldiers to defend Russia. Yeah, right. But I don't think that the Chinese and the North Koreans will be the only foreign troops. I think that the other ones will come from other countries. I expect perhaps Southeast Asia. What Russians have allies, well, Vietnamese, perhaps, and perhaps someone will come from Africa. Okay, that's a possibility. And Putin will declare a victory of some kind. I don't know how he will propose it to Russians, he will announce it, what words he will use, but that's a pretty big deal. There will be a parade on May 9th. What are my thoughts? That's my thoughts. Is there an attack? You probably meant to ask me, will there be an attack? I don't know. If I were Putin, I'd probably throw all the possible, potential, existing resources to defend Moscow from the incoming drones. I don't know how they're going to do it, but, well, we'll see. Kiwi, Davy, I'm a believer Jesus was a good man too, feeding the hungry, killing the healing the sick. I'm sorry, I gotta take a sip of this wonderful English breakfast tea. So, healing the sick, serving the poor. Kia ka, be strong. Thank you so much, Kiwi Davy. Jodes, are you making kimchi? Not my cup of noodles. I don't like it. Send some barbecue over instead of kimchi. Sam K, is Russia still Russia or gone back to being called the Soviet Union? Sam, I think that Russia shouldn't be continued to be called Russia. I think it's a different country. I don't think it's a Soviet Union because Russia is not a union of different republics, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. No, they're sovereign states now. But they gotta call Russia differently somehow. And well, that's that. I would like to see it having a different name. I don't know what kind of name. Certainly not the USSR, not the Soviet Union. But it's a good point. Dale, always good to see you. One reason there may not be as many people today is that the announcement of today's podcast only showed on your channel and not to subscriptions like it usually does. I don't know what to tell you. It's YouTube. It is really sad, you know. I'm not doing anything bad whatsoever. And YouTube is demonetized me. By the way, clarification. I've read a few comments saying, Konstantin, stop fooling people. You were demonetized for just being Russian, not for your stand against Ukraine, against Russia, Russian government for Ukraine. No, 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 and no. Yes, I was demonetized, just like many thousands of Russians, just for being Russian. But you know what? Google remonetized them easily and fast, all of them who applied, who opened AdSense accounts in other countries, and that's, it is legal. There are some shady ways how to do that, but I know that some YouTubers used those shady ways to cheat Google, and Google fell for it, so they opened new AdSense accounts, and Google has denied me multiple times. My new AdSense is registered in the United States. It's a very safe country for Google. It's the country where Google is. And it knows there are no sanctions. And AdSense is not registered for me. It's registered for my company. And Google says, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to monetize because... And we don't give explanation why. Now, I have learned that there are requests from Russian state, Russian government to Google to demote certain channels, and Google takes those requests and demotes channels that criticize Russia, Russian leadership, and so forth. And that is a fact. And perhaps, well, most likely, Russian government is after me, and Google is playing alone. That's what it is. So that's why I always say I'm demonetized because of my stand against Russian state, Russian leadership, and Ikwarg, good to see you. I remember your name from some time ago. Very complicated name for me to say. Do you see any problems occurring at Putin's parade? Also, do you think any internal strife will break out amongst Russians? No internal strife will break out. That is out of the question. Well, at least I think so. There are possible problems. Now, let me tell you two things. There were two problems before. If you watch the parade, Russian parade, watch very closely. Now, write my words down, please. Watch the parade and notice what kind of two vehicles are at the very end of the parade. They are, it's called closing the parade. There's nothing after them. They're gone at the very end, and that's it. Parade is done. You will see two huge, humongous tow trucks for tanks. And I always thought that it was just a showcase of military equipment because they show all kinds of trucks there. Well, why not? Why not tow trucks? Tow trucks, right? Well, wrong. Very wrong. Because there was a problem at one of the parades. You know, after the column of tanks passed the Kremlin and they went a few miles, few kilometers towards the north of Moscow on Leningradsky Prospect, one of the tanks stopped, stalled, and caught on fire. That was a huge fire. I saw videos and pictures with my own eyes. It was 2009 or 2010, no, 2008, perhaps 2007, one of those early years. And you know what happened? They have some kind of a special exercise. When something like that happens, other tanks just move sideways, and those two huge trucks rush to the accident scene, get equipment, machinery on top. They're tow trucks. They're huge, and they put a tank, on top of the truck, and they just moved with the tank. The reason I saw it, they were pictures. People were taking pictures from the windows. There weren't many mobile phones with cameras back then, but still, some pictures surfaced internet, and it was very interesting to see a Russian tank of the parade column on fire. I can't imagine. Imagine all the tanks should be absolutely perfectly maintained, and it caught on fire. It's incredible. Okay, so they deleted all the information within a few weeks after. That was the first time I witnessed how Russian propaganda, Russian state works. They deleted the pictures. You cannot find them. I saw quite a few articles in the Live Journal, and back then we did not have censorship. There were plenty of different independent medias, but they just deleted all the pictures. And then I saw one video of that fire. A handheld camera was, filming it, but I cannot find. I tried to search for it. I couldn't find it. So it's all been erased. And the second incident was Armata, tank Armata. It stopped right in front of the mausoleum. That's where Putin's supposed to, Lenin's mausoleum. That's the center of the Red Square where Putin is supposed to be standing or sitting. It was a repetition of parade. It was not on the May 9th, but they do one or two repetitions couple days before, and it was one such repetition. Armata, the brand new tank, was supposed to be the marvel. It just stalled, and again, one of those trucks rushed, took Armata on top, moved away. So, will be any problems occurring at Putin's parade? Problems like this? Yes, it is possible, because it's happened before. Other problems, I really don't know. No one can tell you. Ronnie, they're not gonna raid people's bank accounts. Oh yes, they will. Yes, they will. Tune in May 10th. I have the answer for you, and that's exactly. It's a hint for you, Rogue Bard, aren't they just going to confiscate the assets of anyone who has left? There has been lots of talks. And they're making more and more laws, making it easier and easier to confiscate. Right now, they can confiscate if they label you foreign agent and extremist. You're done. But if you just left Russia and residing abroad, at this point, they cannot confiscate. But there are talks that the senators should make a new bill allowing the authorities to confiscate. Face the music. Do you think Putin will actually be at the parade, or will he watch remotely from a safe location? Face the music. I think he will be at the parade himself because that is going to be his moment of triumph. That's what he has been fighting. Well, he has been making orders to fight for this exact moment where he's going to announce victory. Putin the victorious. Donald Trump talked to him twice for like 2 hours. Called him the leader of the great country. Called them that Putin wanted to stop the war. Putin called them that, told the entire world in a press conference, look, we're going to decide the fate of the Middle East along with Russia. It came from acting American president. American president kicked out the Ukrainian president from the White House. That is the moment of triumph for Putin. That is victory coming from America, handed from the American president, okay? The Chinese are over. The North Koreans are marching. The Ukrainians are back in Ukraine. Russian land liberated. That is the moment of triumph. Imagine that. Russian army is, well, I can't really say victorious, but he will say that. Victorious, advancing, taking more and more land every minute. That is his hour. So I think he will be there. Shareleaf, thank you. This was great stuff as always. Tony B, is state of people in Russia now based on fear of uncertainty, government, Kremlin, more apathy because of economic situation? Hard question, complicated question. Well, first of all, Russian people are scared to death. I had a few people came over just to visit in Tashkent, and I met them, the people who I know from the old life. They're scared to death. They don't even want to discuss the political issues here in Tashkent. They're scared to death, folks. Understand? They're scared to death. Okay? More apathy. There's no apathy. There's fear. Primal fear. Okay? Economic situation has touched everyone. Everyone complains, oh, it's become so much more difficult. It's become so much more expensive. Oh, I see that people getting laid off left and right, and I'm just so scared for my work, for my job. Yes, economic problems concern them. That's not fear of uncertainty. It's a fear of prosecution. It's a fear of prison. Surely, if my family went through something similar where the government nationalized our all of an fig orchard, so we were lit it on fire, moved to America. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's makes two of us. I know such experience. Bogdan tests software. Shareleaf use inside Russia with space. Capitalize your message like this. Yeah, that's good. Sam K sends a message to YouTube. Take it easy with deleting messages. It's over the top policing, and stop bombarding me with American adverts. I know you monitor in the chat. Take it easy. Sam, well, just to let you know that I never delete any messages after the live stream ends. The mods are watching for the messages, the usual routine. The messages must not contain any insults, and just be respectful and no American politics. Other than that, like, no one gets deleted. But YouTube, yes, it does delete messages, unfortunately. Just Terry, does anyone have any money left to take? I'm not sure what you mean. Leitmotif, what would trigger the final collapse of the economy? It's happening. Nothing has no trigger. I guess the biggest hit right now is falling oil price. It keeps on falling, and it's not the end. It's just the beginning, I think, because the world economy is shrinking as well. The U.S. will be having a hard time with the economy. China is having a hard time already. I mean, the tariff wars never bring anyone prosperity. It's always hard time, you know. And then I think that will set everyone into a recession. Uh, Perhaps will be a global recession, perhaps not. I don't know, but we'll see. But that is going to drive oil prices even lower, and that is death for Russian economy. If prices will drop $7 more for Russian oil, then it will become unprofitable to export, and it will be just shutting down extraction. That is a lot of money, and that's just bad, bad. And the thing is, they're out of money completely. I mean, like out of money, out of money. They just announced the budget deficit for this year is right now at this point is 3.8, and they have 3.4 left in the in the fund for national welfare, and it's in gold partially that cannot sell because it's sanctioned. Okay, so we will see more people getting fired, getting laid off. We will see delays of pension payments, delays of salaries, and this is the collapse. This is it. Um, Sam K, it's YouTube deleting them, not the mods. Harry confirmed it. Constantine, well, hey, Harry. I mean, we're on the same page with Harry, with Lorna, with everyone, with Bob, and uh, I don't know. Perhaps one or two messages get deleted that are absolutely full of hate. Like I don't know. I don't delete messages. Oh, you know what? I do. I do delete. I apologize. One kind of message appears every single time after every live stream. Like Constantine is a great message, but I have one answer, a favor to ask. I have this crypto wallet, and this is the password to this crypto wallet, and I have so much money. How do I access it? Whatever. And that's a scam. Okay, someone is trying to scam people, try to enter, this password into their crypto wallets, and that way somehow they're gonna steal people's money. That I always delete. Okay. Other than that, leitmotif. Thank you. Great answer, especially regarding sanctions, sanction war, and upcoming recession. Kir Nivo from Tashkent. Howdy, friend. Good to see you. You're not sleeping, I see. Doug Hill. Call Russia Putingrad or Kyrgyzstan. Well, call it whatever you want. Terry, the mods are very fair with comments, very fair. Um, the mods are great. They're the best moderators in the world. They know exactly what to do. They keeping this community clean, but they don't go too far. And I mean, you are a great bunch because you respectful to each other. Okay, some in the past we had some people coming in and starting spewing hate and bad words, and would have to ban them. But recently, I don't really notice many people like that. Bob, thank you for reminding me. Melnel, good to see moderators now. Okay, are they moderating? Um, Mark P. Partisans could create havoc. I don't know what you mean. Terry, thank you so much. He heard something about political refugees. Sebastian, hello, hello. Michelle from Kalamazoo. Do we again watch for who shakes hands with Putin, who doesn't? That 1 year, two didn't. Hope you remember what happened to them. And you do look healthier. You know what? That is a great. I do remember, of course. I don't know what happened to them, but I should know and I will know. Thank you for. You were so great, Michelle. You were just gold, okay? Because you remember these things. Oh my, they are important, hugely important. It's just I'm not sure it happened last year. It might have happened 2 years ago, but I'll check on that. Incredible, thank you. Northern Grace, howdy, howdy, howdy. So good to see you. Thank you for coming. Long time no see. Northern Grace was in the very first live streams when I was still happy-go-lucky Russian guy walking the streets of Moscow, showing around saying, "Oh, look how wonderful this place is. Oh, I love it so much." And look left, look right. This is Russia at the best. This is the way I love it. And I remember. Do you remember Northern Grace? Do you? Lorna was there. Bob was there. And Harry was there. And ooh, good old times. Okay, couple more questions and that's it. You know what, Sam? Your Nightbot issue sounds like a glitch. Perhaps reset it. I did it like 5 times and I finally gave up. I tried and tried and tried. I deleted the account. It worked for some time and then it just stopped. And I created a new account. I, put all the words, commands. It didn't work. I connected, I double checked, triple checked, everything. And Lorna and Mommy were telling me, advising me and guiding me, helping, and it just didn't work out. Larry Barth, howdy. Pinda the Peanut, good to see you. Kev, I hope the next leader of Russia focuses on rebuilding the infrastructure. Well, I hope the next leader will focus on rebuilding Ukraine first in its infrastructure. Terry Carter, good to see you. Would I be in favor of Konstantin living near me? Well, it's a small house being renovated just down the road from me. Thank you, Terry. Well, I don't know how to tell you, but I'm still here in Tashkent. I don't have a visa, and I don't see anytime soon how I can get a visa to the USA. Thank you all for sending good words to me. And let me tell you, it means a lot. Well, unfortunately, your country doesn't want me. Heaven's Blade Trollmaster, was it before 2022? Yes, it was 2020, 2021, 2019. I was walking Russian streets. All right, friends. Um, uh, Thank you for coming today. It was very important live stream for me. I don't know why YouTube did not send people notifications. Well, it's on YouTube. I invite everyone to pray along with me. Pray with me, with us. Thank you. Let's do it. Dear Lord, Jesus Christ, thank you for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for the loved ones. Thank you for our children. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads safe and peaceful. Please give us wisdom to raise our children that way that they will never fight in any wars. We'll make a world a better place when they grow up. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help Ukraine and all Ukrainians who have been affected by this terrible tragedy. Send everyone peace, send Ukraine peace, and answer everyone's prayer, and make everyone's wish come true. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those who are responsible for making the decision for peace. Have them made that decision. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest army of strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, and send this army down to this earth to get rid of the demons that we know by their names and by their faces. Send your strongest angels, best angels, to assist good Russian people to run their country, to make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Please help all those who are traveling, send them safe travels. Help those who are in danger, in dire straits. Please send safety. Help those who are seeking for asylum of any kind. Send good people their way. Help those single mothers and fathers who are struggling, trying to make ends meet, raising their children. Send help. Help Ukrainians, and help those who are helping Ukrainians, opening their wallets, hearts, and homes. Please help all those who are cold, sick, addicted, hungry, homeless, jobless, depressed, losing their faith, crying, betrayed, going through divorces. Help those who are feeling alone and left behind, abandoned. Touch their hearts and let them know that you're with them, watching every step they take. Let them know that you are always right there helping them, loving them. Please help everyone in need. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to come together and pray. Thank you for everyone who is praying along with me right now or simply watching us pray. Answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I am asking for a few people who need your help. And I'll start with Greg and his family. Please send recovery, send your angels to work their miracles on him. Send him good health and strength, and send strength to his family who is with him, behind him, supporting him, and loving him. Please shine your heavenly light upon Greg and his loved ones. Please help Ron Bazoid, Teresa, Jeff, Karsten, Janice Burgess, Rose, Albert Bronicky, Lorna, Daniela Fromm and her family, Ann Larson, Anna, Jeffrey S. and his family, Katharina Home, Alex, Mark, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gabin with Gary, Lisa, Harry, Terry Carter, John, Linda, Paula W., Dennis, Jason, Susie, Tim, Dory, Rhonda, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Darla, George Ruberty, Pamela, Meta, David Porter and his family, and everyone in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Life, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Helena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Liz, Ron, Liz, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra, Joseph, Melissa, Jodes, Millie, Philip, Eileen, Victor, Denise Abbott, Derek Martinez, and Jeff Gibson. Please help everyone from this list and everyone who needs help. Thank you, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, thank you for coming. Fantastic to see everyone. Fewer people than usual, but that's okay. There will be other messages as well. I would like to remind you that you rock and you're absolutely awesome, and I will see you soon. Please come back tomorrow. There will be another message that I think will be interesting. And at the end, as usual, I would like everyone to repeat after me as loud as you can the following. Carthago delenda est.